Welcome to this week's Facebook livecast. And actually, it's this month's Facebook livecast because this is the e-newsletter edition when I release the Stonemaier Games monthly e-newsletter and discuss the various topics that I reveal on the e-newsletter. And this month, there's actually quite a bit of news, most of it Wingspan related. So I will adjust my camera slightly. Let's see if I can do that. And there we go. I think that's a little bit better. And wait for people to show up a little bit before I dig into kind of showing you some of these visuals and showing you what's in the e-newsletter. If you haven't received the e-newsletter in your inbox, I included the link in the description above, so you can just click on that. So while I wait for people to populate, let me talk about a few random topics. Truly random would be, this has nothing to do with Wingspan, but I've had two good lentil dishes recently, one of which I posted on Instagram, actually both of which I posted on Instagram. There's a lentil soup that I had at a Mediterranean restaurant and a lentil burger that I had the other day at Layla. Completely random, but I never knew lentils were this good. It was one of the few things that my mother wasn't good at cooking when I was young, and so I had bad experiences with lentils, and now I'm discovering that they're actually quite delicious when cooked properly. So I'm wondering if you guys have anything like that. If anything that your mom cooked kind of scarred you for a while until you discovered it, mom or dad, I don't want to put that all on the moms, mom or dad cooked, and then you just rediscovered it as an adult and found out that it was actually quite good if cooked properly. Let's see, scrolling through it, lots of people popping in today. Elizabeth Hargrave, designer of Wingspan, is here, and I think that's my cue to start talking about the Wingspan expansion. So finally, I know Elizabeth has been wanting to talk about this publicly for a long time, as have I. The Wingspan expansion indeed takes place in Europe. It is Wingspan, the European expansion. I'll show you the sides of the box here, different birds that we picked for the sides of the box. There's that one, and one more, right? What do we have there? There we go. So this box is, if you have side that's around the size of the side Invaders from Afar box. We designed the box to fit certain components that needed to be fit into here. I haven't even completely decided how much I'm going to reveal about the expansion today, other than what it looks like and the content that we're covering. As usual, it is illustrated. The birds are illustrated by Natalia and Anna, and Beth Sobel did the background art, this purple design for the box. But most of the bird, or all the birds, were done by Natalia and Anna. So yeah, this is what the expansion looks like. Again, I haven't quite decided what I want to reveal in today's video because my plan is over the next week to do those little designer diary style entries where I reveal exactly what's in the expansion. But unlike what we normally do, I've actually revealed a lot of information about it today. In terms of like the price. The price is $25 expansion, and it is chock full of stuff. I think you'll get great value out of that. Some people always ask, is this a standalone expansion? And no, when I use the word expansion in terms of anything, it means that you need the base game, and this expands the base game. And I also released the retail release date, which I usually don't announce until we actually do a pre-order for it. The retail release date is November 22nd. That's somewhat important for various distributors in the U.S. and around the world who want to get this type of product in stock before the holiday season. We will be running a pre-order for it on November 6th. I'm looking at my other screen here. Sorry, I'm not looking at the camera. I'm looking at my second screen here to make sure I get these details correct. Well, I actually don't think I put that pre-order date in the e-newsletter. Did I miss that? Oh, November 6th, I said it, yeah. November 6th, open to everybody. However, my recommendation for this is, we made plenty of copies of the expansion, and my recommendation is that if you are not a Stonemaier champion, you could become one and then order the expansion, or if you're not, you can order from a retailer. You can also order from us, directly from us. Anyone can order from us at any time if we have a product in stock, or during one of these pre-orders. But I don't want, because the pre-order won't be until November 6th, and because I'm revealing information that I normally wouldn't reveal until the pre-order, you're probably going to start to see this carried in retailers, or not carried, but listed in on retail stores, storefronts, online, and brick and mortar. You're probably going to see that quite soon, and so feel free to pre-order from them. We have enough, definitely, for champions and then some. But I do have a specific quantity for us, and then a specific quantity, overwhelming majority quantity will go to distributors. So choose what's best for you there. Whoever you want to support. If you want to support Somewhere Games directly, pre-order direct from us. If you want to support a different retailer, or if a different retailer is better for you than pre-ordering from us, I completely respect that. Pre-order from them whenever you want. But our pre-order will be on November 6th, and we will have the game in stock in fulfillment centers around the world for sure at that point. So we'll be able to ship right after that. There's other Stonemaier Games news, but let me see if there's any questions about what I just said so far. Adrian said, what's my favorite bird in the European expansion? Ooh, that's tough. I don't know. I have my favorite bird is the peregrine falcon, but that was already covered in the main game. So I don't know. There are lots of beautiful birds in the expansion. I'll have to think about that, Adrian. I'll get back to you. Chris said, what's the chocolate of the day? I have some chocolate coins over the, you can't see them. They're off camera. Some chocolate coins. That's probably the chocolate of the day, I think. Yeah, I'll call it the chocolate of the day. Chris says, is there a European swallow? There might be. Elizabeth might be able to confirm that. I'm not sure offhand. Jose says, will it contain magpies? I don't know. I'm looking at the back of the box here. There are only a few birds covered there. So I have limited memory of which exact birds are in this expansion. Adrian says, will there be a pre-order discount for Champions? Adrian, probably not. For a $25 product. Well, we never do a discount just for a certain group. We do a blanket discount for everybody, and then Champions get free or discounted shipping depending on where you're located. So will there be a Champion discount on shipping as usual? Yes, there will be. William says, your newsletter mentions more food tokens. Do we need more food tokens for the game? I asked because I had bought upgraded food bits from Board Game Geek. We kind of included, there's a punch board in the expansion, and punch board is essentially the size of this box, and we thought, we've got extra room on this punch board, let's put food tokens on there. I don't think they'll be needed, but every now and then I've heard of people playing 5-player games and they've run out of food tokens. So I just want to be try to listen to that feedback and respond to it, especially since we had the extra room on the punch board. So I would not say you necessarily need it. If you've ever run out of food tokens, maybe, but I don't think so. Chris says, when will we see a Biddy and Walter card? I have talked to the artist about somehow incorporating my cats, Biddy and Walter, into a future expansion. They are not in the Wingspan European expansion, but maybe in a future expansion we'll find a clever way to sneak them in. Chad says, why did you decide to start with European birds? There were a few different factors that went into that decision. Because there are really beautiful and interesting birds all around the world. I think part of what we looked at was the biggest gamer base for Wingspan outside of North America, and that was Europe. And so it was also a nice coincidence that Wingspan won. Here's Wingspan. Wingspan won the German Game of the Year. Germany is in Europe, and so that worked out kind of well. But we had made the decision to go to Europe well before then. We've been working on this expansion for a while. And I say we, but I really mean Elizabeth. Elizabeth put so much heart and love into this expansion. I helped support her along the way as a developer and publisher should, but she did a wonderful job with this. I'm so excited to get this in your hands. Ryan says, any update for Canadians receiving their pre-ordered copies of Tapestry? Ryan, I am waiting for news just like you are. The information I had was that the last air freight shipment, the late one, that was the mistake by our fulfillment center, by our warehouse, was arriving this weekend, and then it would actually arrive in Canada on Monday or Tuesday. The information I have is that it will ship; those copies will ship out today and tomorrow. But really, I am kind of at my wit's end at providing estimates, because I know I'm just letting you guys down when I provide estimates. So the main thing I can say is when you get your tracking number, that's when you'll know it'll ship, that it has shipped. Until then, everything I say is just an estimate, and I'd rather not keep estimating it. I'd rather just have hard data, and that hard data is when you get that tracking number. That's the only sure thing. That's the only certain thing. So I appreciate your patience, and hopefully you'll get that tracking number today or tomorrow. Kim says, what is a Stonemaier champion? I'm sorry, I use that term as if everyone knows what that is. A Stonemaier champion is someone who signs up for $12 a year to support the blog and the YouTube content that I create. I do 3 game design YouTube videos every week, and I do 2 entrepreneurship crowdfunding blog entries a week. And that $12 goes to support those efforts and for people essentially to say, hey, I want you to keep doing this, Jamie. I appreciate you doing this. And as an added benefit, Stonemaier champions within each region of the world get priority shipping over non-champions. And they also get a shipping discount. In the US, you get free shipping on everything you order from our web store. Internationally, you get a shipping discount on everything you order. 1,000 year beard says, oh, not a question. He's just excited. Let's see. Jan says, right after November 6th for Stonemaier champions. Well, yeah, for the pre-order, our intention is to fulfill all pre-orders as soon as possible right after November 6th. So obviously that depends on the number of pre-orders we receive, how good my estimates were in terms of sending quantities to different fulfillment centers around the world, that sort of thing. But yeah, that's the intent. Matthew says, are there more eggs in the expansion? You know, again, I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to reveal today, but I will say, why don't I say this? Because there are indeed more eggs in the expansion, and they are purple, like the box. Purple eggs in the purple box. There are 15 more eggs. Again, like in the base game, the colors don't mean anything. They're just pretty and add variety to the game, but there are 15 purple eggs in the Wingspan expansion. We did a poll a while ago in the Wingspan group about which colored eggs people liked, and I can't even remember if purple was one of them, but we polled a few different colors, potentially for future expansions. My hope is to include eggs in maybe not all of the expansions, but many of them. Jennifer says, can I talk about the package contents of the expansion's ability to fit in the base game box? Yes. So I would say that our intent here, so everything is not going to fit in the Wingspan core box. And the reason for that is that there's a lot of stuff in here. And we designed this expansion box to not just hold European expansion content, but also to hold content from other expansions. So you won't be able to get by Wingspan with just one box. You'll need these 2 boxes, but that should cover you for at least a number of the expansions. But our hope is to do an expansion for every continent. We didn't know Wingspan would be as popular as it is, so we really didn't have a firm plan for expansions. We were hoping to make one someday. But our plan at this point is to make one for every continent. And so that's going to add up to quite a bit of content. And with that in mind, it's all that content is never going to fit into the core game box for Wingspan. Sorry, it looks like Facebook scrolled past me, so I got to answer questions more quickly for a minute, and then if I missed anything, feel free to bring it back. Leo says, have I played Horrified? No, I haven't played Horrified yet. Peter says, did Elizabeth do all the math and balancing? Are the cards to be mixed? Yes, the cards in the expansion are to be mixed in with a base game, and Elizabeth did the math and the balancing with a giant spreadsheet. That's really impressive. Matthew says, how many cards are in there? I haven't said that yet. Is there a second tray? I haven't said that either. Will the cards be mixed? Yes, they'll be mixed. Jonathan, sorry, I'm doing questions real fast because Facebook is scrolling. What type of player interaction are you planning for this expansion? I won't reveal that yet, but there is some interesting player interactions in here. Des says the email expansion mentions the neoprene. Oh, Facebook is going, guys. I think that was a question about the neoprene playmat, which I do have to show today. But let me catch up with questions real quick. Joseph says the neoprene mats. Will the Wingspan expansion work for those? Yeah, the neoprene mats are universal for all Wingspan content. Dwayne says, any new dice in the European expansion? Nope, no new dice. Let's see. Mohammed says, any new mechanisms in the expansion? Yes, of course. Yeah, absolutely. Jason says, well, people are asking, does the expansion include eggs? It does. Yeah, I just showed some eggs on camera. I'm just catching up with questions now. Eric says, French version release. Matago should, like most of our international partners, are releasing it at the same time as we are, retail release, November 22nd. Gary says, will the expansion cards all fit in the Wingspan box? Probably not. I think you'll need the the expansion box for it. Rebecca says, will we see any new mechanisms on the birds or the new expansion, or is that to be revealed later? And yes, there are a number of new mechanisms on the birds themselves. This expansion melds seamlessly with the original game, but there are new mechanisms in it. Matilda says, any thoughts on the complaint that the cheat sheet cards in the Tapestry are confusing to new players? Cheat sheet cards. They're like the reference cards. I actually hadn't heard that feedback. Yeah, I actually didn't know about that. I didn't know they were meant to clarify things, but apparently they're confusing new players. I'd like to know more about that. Werner says, would you consider a localization package for Tapestry? I mean, you can ask our local partners about that, but it's not something that we would coordinate. Chris says, any thoughts on banning those 2 food ravens? We're welcome. Like, if you don't like them, you're welcome to remove them from our game, but we're not currently planning on banning them. Fernando says, is this Wingspan expansion going to increase the playing overall difficulty for the game? I don't know if we'd ever increase the difficulty on purpose for the game. It certainly increases the range of decisions that players can make and adds more interesting decisions. I wouldn't say it even adds maybe a little bit of complexity, but we're looking for this to meld seamlessly with the base game. So no, definitely not making it more difficult for more players. If you're having trouble with difficulty, maybe play better players, and that might make it more difficult for you. Juan says, any direct distributor for Latin America? We have been in talks with well, we're open to any distributors in South America or Latin America, and we recently were in touch with one that I think will be bringing it to Colombia. I don't know if they'll bring it to other countries. Chris says, how is the recommended age of a game decided? Is there a formula? It's really just guesswork. It's our best guess. Jason says, have I seen Rodney Smith's Table Talk video on overpowered game elements? It's terrific, and he uses Tapestry as an example. You know, Jason, I haven't watched that yet. It's but I need to. I've heard that recommended to me several times. Kimberly says, will I ever do a bird-specific theme expansion, like just owls or birds of prey, or will it be kept regional? Our intention is to go regional, but we might do promo packs that are a little different. Like we might do a fantasy bird promo pack. We might do an extinct bird promo pack. And maybe if there are birds like the ones that you mentioned that don't fit into certain other regions, we might do that in a promo pack. Eric says, how many birds? I haven't revealed how many new bird cards there are yet, so I'm going to hold off on that. Mike says, will there be a Wingspan Legendary box? There's no plan to do that, no. Maybe, but there's no plan. There truly is no plan at this point. Let's see. I'm worried that I put maybe too much information on our website today. Not that I can see. Okay. So Chad, you mentioned something that I actually wiped from our website, so I'm not going to answer that right now, but if anyone wants to read Chad's comment, you'll know something that you shouldn't know. Fernando says, can I talk about the promo cards? Yes, I'll talk about the promo cards. So we're doing something new with Wingspan itself. Wingspan to date has been a $55 game. You know what's in the game if you know what I'm talking about, if you played Wingspan. But we're adding something new, and this will increase the MSRP a little bit to 60, but we think it'll be worth it in the long run. And we have a way of catering this to people who already own Wingspan too. So basically the new versions of Wingspan that are coming out this month and from now on will include what we've called a Swift Start Pack. So it's 4 guides that walk different players through the first turns of their game. So they're not identical. Each guide is catered specifically to a different player. And so a brand new player to Wingspan, whether it's a new player in a group or if it's like one new player who's just learning how to play, this guide will tell them exactly what to do on the first few turns of their game. It's through turns 4. It will guide them through exactly what to do on those turns. And when I say exactly, I really mean exactly, because it comes with 10 promo cards. And these 10 promo cards are perfectly normal bird cards. They can be shuffled in with the base game cards. They're not like basic cards or anything like that. They are normal bird cards that are all new. And each of these cards, or different cards, are paired with the different Swift Start guides, so players can really have a real strategy from that first round, even though the guide is walking them through it. So this pack, the Swift Start Pack, will be included in every new copy of Wingspan. And the pack is also, or will also be available separately from our web store. So if you want this promo pack, the promo cards, it's just one seamless pack. You can order it from us. I haven't determined the exact date. It'll probably coincide with the expansion pre-order on November 6th, but it might be a little earlier. I haven't decided yet. But we don't have it yet in stock. So it's coming. It's very close, but it's not quite here. So yeah, that's the new thing. That's the Swift Start pack that we're really excited about, that we created to help new players get into Wingspan. Adrian says, do the bird cards have any symbol that distinguishes them from the base game? They do, yeah. Amy says, thoughts on a legacy box for Wingspan at some point? That's the legendary box people are referring to. We haven't discussed it. I guess it is a possibility at some point, but currently we have no plans for it. Juan says, did we keep the same artist used on Wingspan? Yeah, it's three artists. It's Natalia and Anna are the main artists, and then Beth does a little bit of art for it too. Chad, I think if you refresh the cache on your on our website, you'll get rid of the images, but it's my fault for spoiling them. So there's an unintentional leak showing the images on the Wingspan expansion homepage. For some reason, the main image isn't showing on there. I'll have to add. I wonder if I didn't add a primary image. Yeah, I didn't set a featured image. I gotta do that. Let's see. Jonathan says, any new food types? Nope, all the same new same food types as we already have in Wingspan. John says, how am I feeling today? Today is a very rough day, actually, John, but I am very excited about Wingspan. Yeah, thank you for asking. I don't know if you can tell. Today has not been good. But I am excited to be here to talk about the Wingspan expansion and the Swift Start Pack, and I'll talk about the Neoprene mats in a minute when I catch up with questions. Jim says, did I mention if the base game will be available to order when the expansion opens for pre-order? Yes, in fact, the base game will probably be available even before then. Again, I haven't quite decided, but we're going to start to get copies of this, I think as early as next week. So I need to decide if I'm actually going to start selling them then, or wait for the expansion pre-order. Jonathan says, will supplies be limited on pre-orders? Supplies are always limited on pre-orders because for us, because we always make the product in advance, and then we start to sell it once we essentially already have it in stock. So they're always limited. Ivan says, Automa compatibility with multiplayer games? No, but the expansion is Automa compatible. It has Automa Factory on the box right there. Devin says, does direct pre-order from Stonemaier Games include international shipping like New Zealand? I'm assuming no discount like Tapestry had, but it could end up cheaper overall than many of our local retailers regardless. Devin, well, I did send some copies of Wingspan to our fulfillment center in Australia and Canada and the UK. So again, I don't know the exact timing, but we will have copies in those international fulfillment centers or non-US fulfillment centers. Chris says, Chris is asking the question about age that I answered. It's just guesswork, what we think is an appropriate age for most kids who are learning our game, or most younger people. Malcolm says, on Board Game Geek, I previously said to see if we felt the same about the overpowered ravens in the expansion. So what has changed? You'll soon see what's changed. But basically, I mean, we took into account the power of the ravens in the expansion, and we did some things that I mean, they aren't direct counters to the ravens themselves, but they are just other things that encourage other strategies and can work around that. But really, I mean, if people feel really strongly about the ravens, just take them out of your game. It's just 2 cards. Just remove them. Okay, Maddie is explaining, Matilda is explaining her comment about Tapestry. Pass out the cheat sheet cards, or not cheat, let's not say cheat sheet, they're reference cards. And a player always thought that taking an advancement action always lets you take a core action. This was confusing because the reference cards don't specify that the action on the back of the cards is just talking about the core action. That's odd. I did not anticipate that issue, and we play tested those cards extensively. I I don't know why someone would be confused by that by looking at the game board, but you said a lot of players said they had similar problems, so that's I'll look into that. That is bewildering to me, but I appreciate the feedback. Scott says, will the expansion cards be labeled for easy separation? Yes, the expansion cards have icons on them to separate them. Roberto says, when does this arrive in Italy in Italian? The retail release date worldwide is November 22nd. Jonathan says, Swift Start Pack, can we get that separate? Yes, it's available separately on our web store. George says, my Stonemaier Games shelfie in the back, is that from IKEA? Yes, it is an IKEA shelf. To make it for, you want one just for Stonemaier Games? I have a shelf just for Stonemaier Games. I think you'll need at least a 4x4 calyx for that, or a 2x2 calyx. Russell says, if I did not receive an email on the information for Wingspan expansion, is there something I can do to ensure that I get future communication? If you're signed up for the e-newsletter, you should get it. If not, it might be going to spam, or there's some other issue that I don't have control over, Russell. Ben says, will all the add-ons be available at Essen Spiel? What will be available there? I think there will be some, yeah, there will be some Wingspan expansions available at Essen Spiel, just some early copies, but not, I think that's it. And that's not through us. That's through Matago and Forland. Matthew says, regarding shipping to games from distributors, fulfillment centers is the term here, fulfillment centers. Why don't more warehouses utilize corner protectors for games to reduce or mitigate shipping damage? Seems like a simple and cheap solution. Well, it does, and it is, but it also adds significant time to actually ship the games. That's the problem. So it actually ends up not being cheap because of the labor cost added. But in certain cases, it might be worth it. But we've also seen that, like, while the number of damaged games often seems like a lot based on maybe what you see on social media, the percentage of games that have damaged corners or edges is statistically very, very low. Steven says, last week during the livecast, you received a package of a new printing of sides to check over any errors. I recently bought Master of Orion, and famously, the art of 2 of the races is switched on the player boards. Some other games are known for printing errors, like Little Circuses. I'm curious about the error-proofing process for Stonemaier Games and other companies. Who is to blame, and what's reasonable to expect? It really depends on the circumstance. Sometimes it's a careless oversight of the publisher, sometimes the designer, and it's really the publisher's responsibility. We have a proofreading process to find those things. Sometimes the graphic designer can make a mistake and not realize it, and it's not something that people are looking for. Like, there's a little thing that happened in Scythe on a recent print run where we made, and this is actually why if there's a change to be made, I'm often very hesitant to make it, because there was a little change made on one of the punch boards on Scythe. And through the many interconnected things in InDesign, a colon ended up getting shifted over on one of the tiles. The tile is perfectly usable. It's not a big problem, but it's weird that the colon is shifted over. Completely unintentional, and we didn't know to look for it, and it was one little colon, and so we didn't notice it until a player pointed it out to us. So that type of thing can happen when any change is made at the graphic design level. And for the Master of Orion is probably that the linked images got switched by the graphic designer. The linked images got switched, and people didn't. It wasn't something that people were looking for, and so they missed it. Hilo says, "Will the Scythe Legendary box come to Brazil?" We can ship to Brazil. It's very expensive to ship from here to there. But if you tell Ludify is our Scythe partner in Brazil, they can order some directly from us and bring it there. Ken says, was it announced what time on November 6th the pre-order will launch? No. I mean, usually it's around 9:30, 10 a.m. Central Time. Mary Angela says, when can we expect the new printing of Wingspan available with distributors, the one that includes the Swift Start packs? By the end of October. Amy says, how is Wingspan selling? It seems like it's still selling quickly from retailers. I think Wingspan is probably one of the best-selling games of the year from almost any publisher. That is a very rough estimate. I know there are games, I'm sure, that are selling better, like Settlers of Catan, Ticket to Ride. They always outsell everything. But Wingspan is selling incredibly well. And I'm incredibly happy that it's brought joy to so many people. Keith says, is there a cap in the number of expansions for Wingspan? Our intention is to do one per continent and maybe to do some fun promo packs in between. Jeff says, when will you create a time machine that sees into the future to allow for hyper-accurate product ordering? That's really, I mean, I really should invest everything into that time machine because that would solve a lot of problems. Yeah, a lot of problems, personal and professional. Drug says Dutch translation 22nd of November. I believe the Dutch version of the expansion will be available on 22nd of November. And actually, to cut up on questions a little bit, why don't I reveal? So the Neoprene mat, I've already kind of revealed this. So the fans of Wingspan requested that we make a Neoprene play mat. The reason being that some people just like Neoprene more than cardboard, and it is a little easier to pick up cards off Neoprene than cardboard. So we made this. It'll come in these cardboard packages, recyclable, and we're selling them in singlets. So if you usually play Wingspan with 2 players, you can just order 2 of these. If you usually play with 5, you can order 5 of these. And if you want to be really sneaky and add a 6-player to Wingspan, just order 1 of them, add it to your current 5-player game, and you've got a 6-player game of Wingspan, especially with the new eggs that come in the expansion. So these will be on our web store. This is not a distributor product. This is a web store product. They'll be on our web store at the same time as the Wingspan expansion, or Wingspan Swift Start pack, and probably at the same time as the Wingspan expansion. You can go on our website to get an in-stock notification for this Neoprene playmat. And in case I flash that a little bit too quickly, it is identical to the Wingspan normal Wingspan playmat. Jew says, and still no news. He's talking about Tapestry pre-orders. Do I know what happened? Jew, we're doing the best that we can, and when your order ships, you'll get a tracking number and you'll know it. That's the only. I am hesitant to continue to estimate it because the estimates have not been accurate. And so when you get your order notification, hopefully this week, you'll know that it is shipped. Christopher says, any chance for promo cards for Tapestry? I appreciate you asking about that. Hopefully there will be promo cards. Well, I don't necessarily say hopefully. It is possible there will be promo cards for Tapestry at some point in the future. I don't have any plans for them. Right now, I'm working on the expansion for Tapestry. Let's see. Steven says, are the Neoprene playmats available now? And no, they aren't. They aren't quite in stock. I think they're going to arrive in a week or 2. And so I don't want to sell them before they're actually at fulfillment centers. I'm pretty much going to wait until they're at fulfillment centers. And I think for some fulfillment centers, that won't be until late October. And so I'll probably just wait until the expansion. That way people can consolidate what they want into one order. Stacy says, for anyone who has only had their copy of Wingspan for just 2 months, would I recommend them wait a few months before buying the expansion or go ahead and have it pre-ordered? I think the expansion integrates really nicely and seamlessly with very few new rules, really nothing even to remember that I can recall into the original game. So I think if you've played Wingspan a few times, go ahead and get the expansion. I think you'll enjoy what we added to the game through it. Brian says, any spooky games you're planning for Halloween month? Betrayal, Mansions of Madness, Mysterium? No plans yet, but hopefully, yes, something will come up. Yeah. Gary says, could the game be played just with European birds if players wish, or do they have to be mixed with the originals? There aren't enough birds in the expansion to play a full 4 or 5 player game of Wingspan with just those birds, but you could maybe do it with 1, 2, or 3. Jason says, have I seen the recent Allstate commercial where Mayhem is the cat? No, I haven't seen that, but I need to check that out. Marco says the no-deal Brexit may happen on the 31st of October. What will happen in that case with the pre-ordered copies that have to be shipped to Europe? Well, they'll already be in Europe at that point. The problem is getting them from the UK to Europe. And Spiral Galaxy has assured me that they have a plan, but I will talk to them more about that to make sure that that is still the case. Let's see. Colin says, Will asked a question. He says, is there a problem that he put a Wingspan image on the Facebook group? And no, Will, it wasn't. It was my fault. I had the web store page and the product page on our website set up with some photos that I didn't actually intend to reveal. I wasn't thinking. I was setting it up as I normally do for this type of announcement, but I wasn't intending to reveal them until like tomorrow or the next day. So you did nothing wrong, and I'll monitor that. It really is not a big deal. I'm going to reveal them so soon anyway. Colin says, will additional purple eggs be available for people who already bought the 75 extra egg set? I don't know about additional ones at this point. I mean, we haven't even started selling the expansion yet, but maybe at some point, yeah, we do tend to have extra eggs. So at some point we might do that. Nathan says, how long until more pre-orders come up? More pre-orders. More pre-orders, Nathan. More pre-orders for what? For what product? Kent says, how many cards are in the Wingspan expansion? I haven't revealed that yet, Kent. Mohammed says, when I discussed the Swift Start pack, does it include new birds and can they be shuffled in? Yes, and the Swift Start pack includes 10 new birds. They can be shuffled in, and they are marked on the corners here. Let's see if we can see it. Yeah, see how there's that marking there, and there's a marking down there. We did that to make them really easy to find. So if you want to find these cards for a new player, they're easy to find in the deck. You can pull them back out of the deck and give them to a new player with this corresponding Swift Start guide. Russell says, as a champion, can we pre-order 2 Wingspan expansions if we need them? Yeah, I think 2 will be a reasonable limit. Amy says, any chance of getting a bigger scoring track? I made custom birds and they don't fit. I think someone did post one on Board Game Geek, a bigger scoring track. I don't think we'll be making one, but there's a really nice one on Board Game Geek if you just want to print that out. John says, with the upcoming different continent expansions for Wingspan, can you see the player mat changing to meet the different habitats around the world? I don't know. It is possible we will explore the idea of adding a new habitat or having a habitat that replaces a habitat. Elizabeth and I have talked about that possibility, but we have it's just a possibility at this point. Evan says, what do you look for in a new game when deciding to buy it? That's an interesting question, Evan. I usually look at reviews. I look internally at my own excitement for the game. If I think I'll actually get it to the table at least a few times. I look at the art, the aesthetics, the components, the mechanisms. I'm looking for something new and different, something that flows well, something with a rule book that isn't too long or too hard to learn, because I don't have much time to learn from rule books these days. Yeah, I'd say that right now. Sometimes I look at the designer or the publisher, those things too. James says, how much for Neoprene mats or the Swift Start pack? They're on our web store. Let me see if I can pull that up. I don't remember the exact pricing. Okay, let's see what our web store says for those things. Search for Wingspan. Okay, the Wingspan Neoprene player mats will be, I have that at $5 each. I don't know if that's right. That seems low. I don't know if that's right. I might have that price wrong. But the Swift Start pack is $5. Yeah, let me check on that Neoprene player mat because I don't know if $5 is right for that. Yeah, I think I had the wrong price on there for the. Good thing we're not doing pre-orders today. Or am I doing it? Did I accidentally put that on there? I accidentally did. I am an idiot. All right, well, we're doing some pre-orders for the playmat today because I had the inventory as not 0. Okay. All right, guys. This is an interesting day. Shoot. Alrighty then. Pamela says, will pre-orders be available at the same date at friendly local game stores in Canada? Pre-orders, stores might actually start accepting pre-orders for the expansion today because they have the information they need to do so. They're welcome to do that if they want. We will ship before retailers are allowed to do so. Chad says, will the box make a tweeting sound when you open the box? That would be cute, but no, it doesn't do that. Scott says, can we just get some cubes of an additional color and have at it? If you want to play Wingspan with 6 with that and the neoprene mat, you're welcome to do so. Yeah, you can give it a try. I think it runs a little long when we do that. That's why we didn't include a 6-player officially in the expansion, but you're welcome to try that. Yeah. Jeff says, how do I reconcile the feedback that Tapestry is a civilization game only in theme but not necessarily in gameplay? I can just disagree. I don't agree with that. Keith says, will there be a chance for you to have a side live gameplay with the Board Game Geek Night crew like Rodney Smith, Dave, Nikki, and company? Maybe. I think I'd have to travel to maybe California to make that happen, and Rodney would have to travel from Canada. So probably not, but maybe someday. Miles says, did I watch Survivor? I like the no, don't tell me, Miles. I have not watched it. Jason says, will the expansion include a plastic bit box to hold the additional eggs? I haven't revealed. I revealed that there were 15 purple eggs in there, and I actually showed them in a plastic resource container. So I'll say there's at least one plastic resource container and purple eggs. Okay, let me see if there's any other really important stuff I need to cover today. I wanted to ask a random question, but if anyone owns the love letter, the Hobbit version of the love letter, and you no longer want it and want to sell it to me, I am very interested in it. Feel free to let me know. I'd be glad to buy it from you. I found it very hard to buy. The best price I found is $30, which seems like a lot for a love letter game, but I would be interested in that if anyone has it. Austin says, were the numbers on Tapestry shipped randomly to people who pre-ordered? Yes, completely randomly. Colin says, am I planning to offer additional cardboard player mats in addition to the neoprene mats? No. Yoa says, can I please explain what's new in the Wingspan expansion? I've revealed that there are 15 purple eggs in the Wingspan expansion. There are other details on our website, but no other information other than that yet. Chad says, have I ever forced myself to solve a Rubik's Cube or something like that? I have not. No. Max says, what's your favorite board game expansion? I really like Orleans Invasion, and I like the Tzolk'in expansion a lot. Gary says, have I ever bought a game and then after playing it once thought that it was just a waste of money? No, not really, because I at least had the experience of playing it and learning from it and hopefully having fun with that first session. Or even if I didn't have fun, I learned something from it. And then I can give it to somebody else who will have fun with it. Will says, am I able to show us the marking you have used to identify the expansion cards from the base game cards? Sure, I'll show you one card here. I'll show you that marking. Do I have the cards in here? No, I don't. My cards are all shuffled in to my base game. Let me see if I can get it out. Hey, there's a marking on it. It's clear marking. It says EE for European expansion. It's on there. Gerald says, am I going to put the Kinderspiel des Jahres logo on Wingspan? No, we're not going to do that. I don't want to litter our game boxes with logos, and we have to pay a fee to the Kinderspiel organization to do that, which I don't want to do. Pay a royalty, actually, not just a fee, a royalty. Obi says, where can I find the mats? They're on our web store. Shouldn't have been available, but they kind of were for a little bit. Now they're not. Stenner says, are there new egg colors? There are. Yeah, there's purple is the new egg color. There are 15 of them. Gary says, I think some civilizations are easier to grasp in Tapestry than others. Yeah, I think that's probably the case. I am leaving it to players to kind of decide that. I haven't made an official recommendation there. Samuel says, are they individual neoprene mats or one for the center table and components? They're individual player mats. Chad says, will Carr from Scythe be in the new Wingspan expansion? I don't know if Carr did show up. Carr might be in there, or a Carr equivalent. I don't know if Carr exactly is in there, though. James says that he couldn't find the neoprene playmat. It should. I mean, you should still be able to see the Wingspan playmat on our website. You just shouldn't be able to order it. That was the mistake that I made today. I wonder how far off I was on that pricing. I think I made a big mistake on that pricing. I'm glad I caught that. And thank you all for helping me catch that. Sorry. I should take care of this after I'm off the live cast. I wasn't too far off, but it won't be priced at $5. Brian says, will the Euphoria stars come back in stock? They will, but I don't have a definite date yet. Thomas says, what is the Kennerspiel, the Ziara's royalty fee? It ends up being about $1 per game. Stenner, if you look back at the video, you can see the color of the eggs. I showed them earlier. Here they are. Purple eggs for the Wingspan expansion to match the purple box. Okay, guys, obviously I am, it's been an interesting day so far. I need to go fix some things. But I really appreciate you joining me. I don't mean this the temper. I'm really excited about the expansion. I really am. I'm really excited about the neoprene playmat and the Swift Start guide that'll be available separately and in new versions of Wingspan. Thank you for joining me today with your questions. And yeah, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, I'll be back next Wednesday. All right, take care. Have a great day.